Hi there, I'm Dr. Chung and welcome to your friendly proctologist. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I really appreciate you being here. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe this video. I really appreciate you participating and helping to bring this channel to more people around the whole world. So thank you again. Today's question is an excellent one because everybody, 100% of people ask this question, and so it's just natural that you brought it up as well. That question is, what kind of drainage should I have after surgery in the bottom end area? And no matter how many times I've gone through this question with my patients before the surgery, it always gets asked again after the surgery, 100%. And no, I'm not saying my patients are dumb, because they're not. The issue is, okay, like weird liquid is coming out of your butthole, okay? I mean, how can you possibly think that that's going to be, just going to go over their head or just going to think, oh, that's all right. That's not normal in any situation except after surgery. So of course you're going to freak out about it, okay? You're going to ask, how long should it be there for? And is this color normal? Is this, am I okay, doctor? Is my recovery going okay? And of course that is going to be running through your mind. So let's go over a little bit of background here and what is the context? Well, surgery is what is being done to create this drainage situation. So, when a surgeon does surgery in your bottom end, there are cuts made into your skin. That skin on the outside also turns into intestinal lining inside your anus. So, that area where it goes from skin to intestine, it's like half skin, half intestine, and then gets past that zone, it's full-on intestine, okay? It's like shiny, it's wet, and this stuff acts completely different when there's an injury compared to skin. So the surgeon does the work, like removing hemorrhoids, working with anal fistulas, right? Cuts are being made in the favor for trade-off, risk-benefit for healing and removal of the problem, right? So what happens next after that injury is done? Well, you're recovering, but you may be trying to rest, your mind anyway, but your body is at work like covert ops, okay? So think about a patrolman, an officer, one single cell of your immune system, like a neutrophil, which are usually one of the first responders in sight of infection or an injury of the body. And so he's standing around, he's at his night post, and he looks up all of a sudden, holy cow, there's the ceiling is gone. I can see the sun. That's not supposed to happen. And so this officer says, holy cow, we've got to do something about this. And there's one thing that I find super interesting about the evolution, adaptation of the human body is that it's out to protect itself, okay? It knows, these cells have the programming to know that these types of problems can have risk to the body dying. And if the body dies, that immune system will no longer exist, right? They all die. Okay, captain of the ship is gone, everybody in the ship is going with it. So it's gonna freak out and say, holy cow, we've got to do something. So it picks up his radio and says, Tim and Judy, hey, Tim and Judy, we've got a problem here. Get the cavalry going. Tim and Judy then tell 6 of their neighbors. 6 of their neighbors then tell the entire neighborhood. And it spreads like Herbalife, like the Herbalife pyramid scheme, right? It's just flooding out the entire system. Your entire body will know what's going on very quickly. And the messengers are the cells themselves, but more importantly, it's the chemicals that draw in the cells, you know. This is how they see, is by sensing these chemicals or these proteins on the outside of their body, and the interaction there then creates more messages to get more people on board and do work. All right, so the first drainage with the bottom end has to do with pus, okay? It's like a cloudy, yellowish, whitish. It can even be greenish tinged colored as well. It's very possible. And these are mostly the action of the neutrophils because they are the first people there to see, and they also fight infection, and they're primarily responsible for a lot of the initial work for inflammation. But the same type of stuff you see in a pus ball, like a boil on your arm or your hand or whatever, is the same thing you would see in your bottom end, okay? And the bottom end is an open tunnel, okay? So whereas a boil, it's in a locked space, like under your skin, in the anus, it's an open tunnel, so the stuff just drains right out of you, okay? That's why you see it on your toilet paper. And we want to see that stuff. Why? Because that means our immune system is functioning properly. That is composed of bacteria, immune cells, and products from the wound itself that it's giving off, because it's constantly producing it, it's shedding itself. This is what we want to see, okay? That's drainage number one. Number two drainage is, of course, blood. Opening up your skin opens up or breaks through blood vessels. And of course, what's in blood vessels? It's the pipeline for our blood to bring nutrients to our body. So blood is going to be there. Not just because of the blood vessels though. Another concept I want you to be aware of is granulation tissue. When you have a wound here, it's not like a rip in a piece of paper. It's more like a great big basin where skin has been broken and the wound is stretched out, okay? In this basin here, the immune system and the body is laying down groundwork again to rebuild that destruction. It's like you have the highway workers, right? Construction workers, thank you. Construction workers are breaking up the concrete and then laying new concrete and rebar down in order to heal it. This stuff, the new concrete, is kind of like granulation tissue. It's very, very rich in blood supply and makes a ton of chemicals, and it promotes healing and growth of new scar tissue to develop. Then eventually the skin will come in and close the wound so you no longer see it anymore. But the granulation tissue bleeds so easily. It's extremely fragile, and therefore blood will just ooze out just by touching it with cotton gauze even. Okay, it's that weak. But the sign of blood and the sign of pus really, to my clinical judgment, is a sign that a wound is doing well. Those are the things that we need to see and that need to happen in order for a wound to heal properly. If one of those things is missing, I would say that I'd be concerned, and I would want to see the wound to ensure that it is healing properly. Okay, what's another drainage? Well, pretty simply, just clear water, and it could be yellow tinged, it could be clear, but that watery discharge is from the water accumulating in that area of the surgery, because everything gets boggy, more swollen. And what do you think that is? No, that's not all pure blood, it's mostly water. The chemicals that the immune system brings in attracts water like flypaper, flies to flypaper, okay? And so that's why it gets all really, balloony, very kind of rubbery to the touch. So what we've got so far is pus type drainage, ranging from white to green. We've got bloody drainage, pink to light red to darker red. And then of course we have a clear, like watery discharge. We can be clear all the way to yellowish tinged. And that's all mixed onto your gauze. If you put the gauze right on top of your anus, which is what I always recommend, it catches all that wet fluid and therefore it won't get on your skin as easily, therefore protecting it. Because sometimes when skin gets really moist for a long period of time, it can make it itchy. And when you take out your gauze and you look at it, because you're wanting to make sure you don't want to see anything abnormal, you look at it and you say, gosh, it looks like a crazy Monet painting, and with all these different colors on the palette, okay? And I'll tell you that for the most part, the majority, it is normal. What's one more thing you might see is poop, okay? Whatever color it is that day for you, brown, greenish, whatever, you're also going to have that mixed in, because if you have soft poop, which I highly recommend that you have so that your recovery can go easier, that's going to mix in with the pus. It's going to mix in with the clear liquid, right? And so that all can add some more colors to your palette, okay, in your painting. And so all these things that are going on, it's very complex, but yes, you're right. There is a lot of drainage and it is expected, and it is very, very concerning. And so I think that having a professional like me on your side can definitely relieve some of those fears to make sure that your recovery is going as expected. If you find that there's something not right, especially if you feel more pain, those are warning signs in my opinion, and definitely need to be definitely need to be seen by your surgeon in order to make sure you're okay. Well, I leave that topic here, and I really appreciate you being here. Once again, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.